Facebook makes you type in the show every single time, the name of the title. Because if you switch between Lutcher and DDO, like I do, on the output, it doesn't preserve the title by sort of stream. In case you wonder why you always have to hear a few seconds of me typing at the start of the show, it's because I generally go Twitch, YouTube, Facebook in terms of going live. And Facebook is one that's kind of a pain. I suppose I could flip it around, but whatever. I am running behind a little bit today. I haven't even logged into the game. I'm working on it. I am I was busy this morning. What can I say? I was looking at a issue with our other game where we were having some connection issues overnight involving largely EU world routing. And honestly, part of the reason we knew that it wasn't directly something that we could control is because you weren't having problems on the DDO side. So we had there's been some weird internet external issues with like kind of internet backbones and stuff since really the weekend. We had that big CenturyLink thing that took down tons of internet. Was it Saturday, Sunday now? Don't know if this is related to that or what, but all right. Also, I am afraid to say that today's show is not brought to you by coffee. I have been so busy. Well, I was just going straight to work on this other stuff, right, that I was just talking about. And next thing I noticed, I was like, oh, man, it's 11:47 a.m. and I haven't even made coffee yet. So that's what, this is going to be a coffeeless Cordovan today. So in case you wonder why the show is truly terrible, worse than usual, that is the answer. No coffee. I'm just now, it's hot. I don't like hot coffee, but yet I'm taking small sips so that I can start to wake up a little bit, even though it's noon. Oh my gosh. Yep. Is there new news about the shifter? Not exactly, although we did show it off on Lamonia last week, and we'll be doing a third preview of Lamonia. Let me talk about that when I formally start the show right now. Hello, welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and I will be with you for the next hour. We're going to talk a little bit about the latest news. Then in a little bit, I'll be heading to the Hardcore server. Going to be probably spending the next couple of weeks until the end of Hardcore Season 3 just on there. I have a long ways to go. I probably won't hit 20. I probably won't hit 1750, but that would be nice. And we'll just kind of see. Mostly, I want to just survive. If I can pass my personal goal of getting past level 9, then I will be okay. All right, someone had to go, I saw, over on Twitch and had a question for me. So I want to make sure I get to that one right off the bat. I transferred servers a few weeks back, this person says, and was saddened to discover your pets did not transfer with. Is it possible that you could get a rock certificate? Yes. Can you PM me on the forums with your character name and server? I'd be happy to send you one. That's fine. It is true. It is true that creature companions are per server. So if you do transfer, they don't come with you. I know that some people have kept some certificates for that very reason. Like if you have duplicate certificates, maybe you get one from Daily Dice or something like that. You can actually save that, even unless you want to put it in the auction house or whatever. But you can save that, and then sometimes that'll work quite well for you then if you need to get it on another game world. So it's not snoozing to noon. I've been busy, man. I've been busy. Not that I get up super early, but, you know. Hopefully Shifter and IC Past Life will be normal on third preview. I'm not sure what you mean by normal in terms of Shifter. IC Past Life. I'm trying to think about what IC stands for. I don't know. I don't know. We are, however, doing a third preview. No immediate ETA to announce, although last I heard we were targeting next week for it. We'll see what happens, depending on the work schedule and flow and how things go. But we are planning to do a third preview for Lamonia, and that could be as soon as next week. Past life on second still use tieflings. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's simply just not in yet then. Well, I would imagine that should be in for the third Lamonia preview. I would think that would be. Any word on the chat issues? Charles over on YouTube says, "Oh man, I wish I had good news for you." Unfortunately, no is the answer. We have been looking at it while working with other priorities as well. Things like the downtime I just talked to you about. But we have not yet identified what's going on and why it's not populating. It's not populating for me either on Atlantis, just FYI. So that makes it easy to check to see whether or not it's working. But unfortunately, this is taking a while, taking longer than I think we thought it would. And we're working on it. Hopefully we'll have good news to share in the near future on that. Some players are having issues seeing their friends list, and if your friends list is kind of blanked out, we've also seen reports of people unable to add to it, like you can't rebuild it. That's my experience too. And also some, say, voice chat and other connectivity issues. We have been kind of focusing in on various areas that should be the reason for it, and so far haven't found really what's going on there. So hopefully we'll get more information and have better news for you in the future. Is Shifter past life text bugged? Probably. IC is for iconic. Makes sense. Okay. I was like, inquisitive something? What? I don't understand. I don't remember that one. I was like, I didn't think that was the name of the shifter tree. But yeah, now I understand what you're talking about. So it's simply a matter of it wasn't in data for the build for Lamonia. Any update regarding moving characters between servers? That is something that we are also actively working on. Those same people, frankly, that are working on friends list issues and some other things are working on that one too. And hopefully we'll have news also in the near future. We need to reopen world character transfers for both games for a whole bunch of reasons. So it's on the list of things to do as soon as we can. Probably going to be a little time still yet because we have to do some kind of... actually, it's a little complicated. I'm not going to get into it now. But we have some additional work still that needs to be done, even though basically everything is done public-facing. And once that work is done, then we can reopen the transfers for both games. I need more coffee, I know. Can we get a smaller bear size without going gnome? I feel guilty in a party with my bear taking up half the screen. Are you playing a PDK druid or something like that? I don't know. But half orc? Yeah. I think it would be cool to have a slider if we had that kind of ability to do that, but it's based simply on the avatar size of the avatar rig, frankly, that you're using, which basically means what race you're using. And so I don't think we have the ability to adjust it. Okay, whatever. Do I like the shifter? Yes, I do. I have to admit, I am looking at that shifter racial enhancement tree and going, whoa. And my barbarian, I think, is almost certainly going to be a shifter because of it. So there you go. How is the Thaco server coming along? Well, we're trying to figure out, like, if your AC is -7 And then the monster's 2 hit is 7, but you're under deep cover. Yeah. Remember the slide rules that they used to? I even remember, was it at some point they even had basically like a slide rule to determine AC that you could get at stores, and that was fun. Am I aware that the updater is having issues recently? I know that pretty much every time we do a patch, there's, just similar to most technology, there is a tiny, but, tiny on a large number scale percentage-wise, ends up being a lot of people sometimes, that have been having some patch issues recently. We think it mostly involved timing with some other issues that were going on, like some of the routing issues, ISP backbone stuff. So if say you tried to patch up and there was some kind of blip or issue, then it might essentially corrupt the data, and you have to repair it and then re-download it. And that's probably my best suggestion is if you're having an issue with that, check the repair option in the launcher and see if that won't solve your problem. All right, I am in game, and we'll see if we can get a couple people here with me. If not, that's fine too. Oh, nice. Thank you, folks. I wanted to try a little bit of a more challenging quest here today, and now I realize I'm level 7, and this is a level 3 quest, so, But, if anyone thinks Swipe Signet doesn't kill players on hardcore, you probably haven't been playing hardcore too much. I think I'm going to run Swipe Signet here in a little bit, and hopefully not die. Alright, as long as it's alright with folks, I was planning to run Swipe Signet. Because I could use some help on that one, frankly. Level 3. If I need to, I'll go with solo, but I'd rather not, because it can be a tricky one. Where am I going? Where am I going? What am I doing? Where am I? Oh, wrong side. I always do this. There we are. I mean, it's a pretty good hideout. I think you're right. Yeah, at level 9, you're not going to be able to do it. Alright. If you can't figure Thaco in your head, don't play, lol. Well, kind of a lot of work, Absolutely. Do we actually have a trapper, by any chance? I don't know. I mean, if we really don't have a trapper, then we're probably just going to have to run something else. Because I would not want to run this quest without a trapper. Run something else. Because I would not want to run this. Yeah, I am definitely thinking Pure Barbarian Shifter. Basically, the character I play on Wayfinder, which is currently a PDK, that build, the kind of Ravager, Fury of the Wild, Ravager, Frenzied Berserker thing that I've been working on for a while. It's just a pure class Barbarian, nothing fancy. That plus Shifter is going to be way more powerful, so... No deaths yet, Red Piety. I'm hoping to not die this time. We'll see. The issue with Thaco is really just one of negative integers, right? As soon as they got rid of negative integers and 2-hit calculations, it just dramatically improve the game, kind of. Can I tell us the weekly bonuses and sales? I can definitely tell you the weekly bonuses, not the sales, and I would be happy to do so in just a second, as soon as I'm get a chance to pop over to this. So we have two things going on that are worth mentioning. The first being that starting tomorrow morning, late morning Eastern time, we're going to be having our regular DDO bonus days bonus. That includes a Treasure Hunters boost of plus 10. Which is pretty good boost, if I do say so myself. Alright, that should largely get me where I need to be in terms of buffage. Alright, who's getting hit? Iron Defender, okay. The other thing that's worth mentioning is that we have got our double Mysterious Remnants boost actually going through 2 weekends. So that goes through this weekend, besides just last weekend. Additionally, I would point out that Monday is a big holiday in the United States, in case you didn't know. That holiday being Labor Day. So all these bonuses are going to go through Monday instead of the usual Sunday. Not bad, huh? Plus 10 Treasure Hunters boost, double Mysterious Remnants through Monday. On sales, I'm not permitted to give out sales information early, so I have to wait for the standard timing on that one. All right. Man, I can't wait till I get Quicken. Actually, do I have Quicken? I do. Always on. Always on! Same with the healing. Okay, good, I did it for healing. Yeah, this is the kind of trap that'll take you out. I would say that Labor Day is a U.S. holiday, and historically, we do some recurring sales periodically that tend to show up during longer holiday weekends and things. So there's a chance that tomorrow's sales information may have an extra goodie in it, as it were. And I think I would... Alright, hey everyone, be super careful in here, okay? Slow and steady. Oh, and I've got Hold Person. That's going to be a spell to use. There we go. Hey, Eric, I'm backing you up here. Why don't you just keep forward and we'll take care of this. Alright, nicely done. All right, let me take a look at chat here. Any approximate date for the release on the next expansion? Nothing I could say publicly. We do have an internal date, you know, that is already pretty well set at this point, so it'll be a matter of time. Typically, at least in recent years, we've tended to provide a release date, or at least a release date window, during our expansion pre-order, pre-purchase campaigns. We'll be doing something like that again this time, so we'll do a pre-purchase, probably something within, 2 to 3 weeks before it goes live, something like that. And that pre-purchase page will likely have a release date in its legalese, if nowhere else.
Win the Quickfoot Prize. Tremble before the might of Quinn.
The first of many. So release date, it's this year. I can tell you that much. And we're already into September, and we're doing our second preview of the thing. So we're getting, you know, pretty close to pre-orders. And that should get you a lot more information about when it's going to be. But we're looking at... I just better not say. Not now. Good. Nice. I remember, I think it was back in 2006, or 2007, 2006, 2007. I remember once running this quest. This was back in the day when the game... Yeah, we're awful scattered here. Let's get together, huh? Old person, definitely a good idea for this quest. Say it in Sam Kinison voice. Say it! I did mention chat problems a little bit earlier, Wanatuck. Unfortunately, I don't have anything any good news to pass along to you. Unfortunately. It's something we're still working on. No, let's skip the optionals. No optionals unless we really need to. Or I stumbled into it because I'm an idiot. Where are we going now? Where do we need to go? We need to go this way. Okay. Or not? Oh, that's... Oh, just, yeah. Well, you have to work overtime to heal shifters on average. I don't think so. I think in general, they should be in a pretty good place, especially with the... if they do any of the enhancement benefits that give you regenerating rages, and that plus the benefits that give you healing while raged, like, you know, ticks of healing, hopefully they should be in a fairly good place, actually better than in the past, because of those regenerating rages there in the shifter enhancement tree. What he can't tell you, say, is that optional XP is still severely lacking, so most high caliber players skip optionals. I don't know that I agree with that statement, but sure, I appreciate what you're saying. Certainly, skipping optionals reduces risk. Optional XP has actually been boosted quite a bit in recent years. I know a lot of players that run optionals, not for XP, but for loot. So, alright, looks like I'm actually ready to do Gatekeeper's Grove stuff. I haven't done any of those level 3s yet. Because I can do Tangle Root, on my own. I don't need anyone for that. Oh, I have a mount. Now, you're right. Like, say, for example, players who are, especially if you're focused on things like XP per minute and trying to accumulate past lives and things like that, you are probably better off generally not running the optionals. And that's not a problem either. I mean, that's why they're optional, right? We too love Cindy Robinson as a DM, and hope she does loads more. I would agree with that. We love Cindy Robinson. She's so good. Oh, she's so good at voice acting and everything. Man. Any update on store purchases? You need some points. So I imagine what you are asking is, I think what you're asking is external store purchases. So are we going to be bringing back external DDO point purchases? Right now, you can buy them for yourself through the store in game, but you can't currently buy them for others. Our gifting option is gone because our Sorry, I'm just trying to get multitask here. Because we no longer offer DDO points in the DDO market. And that is something we're working on to bring back through, and we'll have news about that as we get probably closer to it. We're updating our kind of external store processes in a fairly substantive way. And we'll have more information about that. Too bad we can't get Stephen Colbert as a guest DM. Well, hey, Steve, if you happen to be listening to this and you're like, I want a DM, yes, we would love to have Stephen Colbert DM one of our quests. Are you kidding me? I just don't think we could afford him. Plus, I don't think he's got the time for it. But we'll see. I don't know. That would be sweet. That would be super sweet. The looks of the land here, rewarded. I have to admit, though, I'm tempted to say just as much as he is a D&D nerd, he's probably even more of a Tolkien kind of nerd. So I'm gonna guess that were something like that to ever actually happen, we might want to use those resources on the other game side, because he's such a huge Tolkien fan. We actually have a live streamer on Fridays on our, whatever you want to call it, brother-sister channel on Livestream, called the Tolkien Professor. And the Tolkien Professor does real kind of scholarly lore stuff about Middle-earth and Tolkien history. And we know for a fact, because he has talked about it on his Twitter feed, that Stephen Colbert watches that show sometimes.
Otherwise tranquil chamber is
So,
by the telltale scent of blood.
but that show is not so much about... I mean, it is about Lord of the Rings Online, because he's playing and talking about it kind of through the game interface. But the focus of the show is really more Tolkien, Middle-earth scholarly stuff than game talk.
More humid as you approach the next chamber.
Yeah, okay. Colbert doesn't watch the stream. He listens to Corey's podcast made from the show. Yeah. Same thing, but yes. In my opinion. Well, not same thing, but okay, I get what you're saying, yes. Can you DM a quest if you get a SAG card? Well, that would certainly be one of the first steps. Felicia Day is a guest DM. Good luck, stay safe. Yeah, I mean... There's a list of people who, if they had any interest whatsoever, we would be thrilled to have them. The reality is a lot of the kind of big names that you see on, say, forum posts and things about who should be guest DMs are way out of our league in terms of availability and budget, right? Like you know, we'd love to have like a Vin Diesel or something like that. And even back in the WB days, I believe there was even some kind of work meant to reach out to that said individual to see if anything was possible there. And my understanding is basically some of these kind of figures that are often brought up as names for possible DM voices, their schedules, they're booked out literally for a year or two or more. So, for example, if we went to, say, a Vin Diesel and was like, oh man, we would love to have you DM, and he was in a position to say, like, yes, I would like to do it, and I'm willing to do it for peanuts, because it's probably, you know, relative peanuts compared to what he usually gets. It would probably be a matter of that person's agent returning a call to us saying, great, what does 2022 look like? You know, something like that. So that is the reality of some of these folks, right?
You hear the scrape of metal claws on stone coming from the area ahead. Sparks fly from the eyes of the mechanical guardian as it focuses in on you. The guardian collapses into a heap, and sparks of
Any plans to do something similar to the cards from years past? Almost certainly not. The unfortunate reality is, while that card system was fun, and we enjoyed it, habits die hard, what can I say? And we enjoy it,
where the light streams in.
I think players well know that it was so heavily exploited that the likelihood of us ever bringing something like that back without completely tearing down and rebuilding the system are absolute zero.
Found the sacred bounty Foxpaw was looking for. Now to return to the gatekeepers and tell them what happened.
Oh. Hey, I can actually maybe use that. I don't think I even have something in my trinket slot right now. And I think I already have protection +2. But I definitely take the augment slot. So I'm trying to remember, Craig, how Will Wheaton came about back in the day. I'm pretty sure it was again through Warner Brothers kind of entertainment. You know, right at the time we were published by Weeby, And I'm pretty sure it had to do with probably work that he was doing with that studio, you know, in addition to what he was doing with us. And we were able to sort of make it happen. But in terms of the specific process, unfortunately, I was not in a position to be visible to it at the time. I was a lowly community specialist rather than, say, a community manager, so I didn't really get to see how that process came about. I wasn't in on the recording or the interview either, unfortunately. So... But I'm pretty sure it was simply through some kind of Warner Brothers agent contacting us, contacting Warner Brothers, you know, going down the chain, and at some point it getting to him in an official Hollywood capacity. The guy who did Magic Mike is a big D&D gamer. Do you mean, gosh, what's that guy's name? The hunky guy. The one that all the ladies think he's kind of hunky. I don't know, I can't think of his name. I know who you're talking about, though.
Shadow passes over her face. The garden! The garden! She gasps.
Joe Manganiello, yeah, okay. Well, that's not him, though. That's not the right guy. But he is a big D&D person, too. And I'm sure we'd love to get him, too.
You find a dull and rusted scythe among the other garden tools in this workshop. You take it with you. Perhaps you'll need it outside.
If Joe Manganiello... I'm sorry, I'm mangling his name. If he is willing to do it for free, then someone get in touch with him. I have a feeling he might not actually do it for free. Even people in Hollywood who love D&D are still going to want to get paid for their official work they do. But, you know. Channing Tatum! Oh, thank you. God, that was bothering me.
You see signs that some...
Jerry's first thoughts trying to get the name, the big hunky guy. Yeah, it's true. Oh, but then that's because I actually like him. He's a very, very talented actor. But yeah, I knew it was because of the Magic Mike stuff, right?
You emerge into the hot air and find yourself on the back porch. You use the scythe to cut down the bamboo that is sprung up around the back porch. Before you stretches an overgrown wasteland. The remains of the family's crop.
It's gonna work. Wrong spell.
Struck by a headache as a cold voice sounds around you. Come here, Lily. A little bit farther. You hear the ghostly voice again. Almost
I
there,
get kind of
Lily.
turned around in this quest. No big surprise there, huh?
The maze of overgrown shrubbery leads you into a clearing where...
Do you remember, Lily?
The voice rasps.
I bet you...
Lily's family turns in surprise to see their estranged daughter. They notice that something about her seems wrong. Unhinged, even. Briar screams as the bird...
War Dog over on YouTube is got some... sending us a little bit of a nasty gram on in chat, but I did want to address your point, which is what if we have done, quote, nothing to stop the cheaters. That's not actually true. It's not actually true at all. We have done quite a bit, in fact. But I acknowledge that there is still plenty more to do.
You want my songs? Come and get them!
Blinded and enraged echoing through the clearing and sending a sharp pain to your skull. But soon she dissolves into a thin mist and vanishes. You found Rosemary's songbook, but most of the pages are torn and missing. Perhaps there is something else nearby.
I'm banking these levels. On the heroic end, especially, you end up banking some of these levels if you're gonna run all the quests.
To repeat parts of her songs. With the bird in tow, you can finally return to the gatekeepers and leave this cursed place behind you.
Can the new iconic wear armor without issue with its unarmed combat? Gosh, I will have to double check to make sure that that is what I think it is, but I think the answer to that is yes.
Has long since collapsed.
Although you may well have, say, like, especially if you are going with the iconic barbarian, then you're going to be, you know, largely stuck with medium armor unless you want to, you know, work around it, right? Oh, I did actually do a sentient gem. It was, I don't talk about it a lot, really, but I did actually do a sentient gem. It was never really meant to be released, and then it got released anyway. And so people have an opportunity to check it out if you want. I make no statements as to its quality. It was originally recorded as basically a scratch track that we would use in the development of the sentient jewel system. You know, it needed a voice. And they were like, well, let's get a kind of a, you know, a voice that we can use that sounds like it might actually be kind of a sentient gem voice, right? And so I went and recorded it. And then we weren't actually going to.
A hastily scrawled note at the beginning of this journal orders the mine's closure due to the release of some kind of hostile creature. Surely you'd be doing everyone a favor if you cleared out the dangers from this dusty old mine.
Oops. Man, I keep on doing that. I get so used to, at this level, using my improved domain of death that I'm not paying attention to when the mob is immune to it. So it was never exactly meant to be released. And then we ended up in a position where we overpromised how many sentient gems we were able to deliver. And so we had to pull one out to get out relatively quickly. And the team decided to release the Sentient Jewel of the Timid. And so it is available, and it's neat, and I'm honored. But
partially eaten. Spiders certainly wouldn't do that.
I think it's fun, but I don't know that it's actually very good. I have to admit, do you know what's the honest truth? Honest truth? I've never heard it in game. Never once. I want one, but I haven't gone through to pick up all the Vistani tokens and stuff that you need to do to get it. And I just sort of never have. So I remember recording it, so I know what it says. But I don't actually own one. I probably should someday, huh?
Several clay golems stand idle in this Mage Rights workshop, waiting to be reactivated.
We don't really need to do this, do we?
They would be difficult to fight. Though it might also be argued that it's better for you to deal with them now, before someone less prepared comes along.
I'll save the shrine for a bit.
Canith crystal hums with magical energy. It's connected to a barrier that blocks the path forward.
Yeah. I mean, we could just smack it, but...
The barrier fades, and a wave of searing heat buffets your face. An ancient magma brute lumbers about in a large chamber.
So, I guess just one last comment then on the kind of exploit concern that was raised over in YouTube chat. It is something that we are actively working on as well. We haven't called it done. We have
something old yet new that
plenty of work yet to do, but we have done quite a bit also. Ooh, nice. Not this character, but nice.
The old mine here has long since collapsed. Someone must have dug one too many times.
The idea of getting the sentient gem of the timid and then equipping it on one of my personal characters just seems so weird. To be playing a game and hearing your own voice. I don't know that I could handle it. I'd probably just spend the entire time criticizing my performance. Any news on Crystal Cove? Yeah. So, this came up on the forums recently that it's been a really long time since we did Crystal Cove, and the reason for that has been that we wanted to update the loot before we did it. And that work, from what I understand, is largely done. I've already done this. Okay. So, I think we're looking at Crystal Cove this fall here. And that should be include some new stuff, I think. Stay tuned. It'll be in the release notes and such, but we're close. And we are, I think we're, at least last I heard, we're still planning to get it out this fall. So we'll see where that goes. But I know we've got Night Revels coming in October, so. But there is, what, Talk Like a Pirate Day coming up, is that September 19th? That might be a good time to do something like that. Cast Prayer in the Trapper, yeah, you're right. I know, I don't, a lot of, I'm kind of monitoring 3 chats and trying to think in my head about, make sure I do all the company stuff. I tend to back off a little bit on actual gameplay on the streams here compared to what I do on my own. Especially on hardcore, where one mistake, as people well know, can and will and does kill me. Mimicon, I haven't really heard much about. I don't think we're opposed to bringing it back. Although I do think there might be a couple of bugs we need to address before we do so. I think that might be where we are on the Mimicon. Otherwise, it's just a matter of timing. Also, I'm actually not sure. We have a lot of people who like the Mimicon, and we also have some people who get pretty frustrated when the Mimicon is available in-game, because they find it really difficult. Well, maybe that's not the right word. They find it unnecessarily difficult. Might be the better way to phrase that. So I do think we want to be a little sensitive to that. That's why we don't just sort of permanently put it in place and stuff. And yeah, there's mimic bait and the other kind of stuff, but even so. Will DDO have a tank class? What are you talking about? I would argue that DDO absolutely has multiple tank classes, and tanking in DDO is totally doable with multiple builds. I don't really, DDO, to some extent D&D, but especially I think DDO here does not tend to do a lot of the kind of MMO holy trinity that you see. I mean, we have it, right? Certainly we have it. But it tends to be broader and more complex than that in general for DDO. So I'm not sure, even if we did want to say, like, yes, we're going to be doing a specifically tank class, if that's actually what would be all that popular, because people are like, okay, but I already tank using X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, and F. War Dog, any talk about increasing cosmetics for another revenue stream? I know other games exist solely on cosmetics. Some do. A lot don't. But we actually do quite a bit of cosmetic work as part of our, like, it's pretty common for our expansions, for example, to have upper tiers. If you just want the expansion, it's usually, I think, fairly inexpensive. But then if you want to get into like the collector's editions and ultimate editions, it gets more spendy. And most of that stuff is all about giving you cosmetics. So I would say we actually do quite a bit of cosmetics. Now, it's true we don't do, say, mobile style or like TF2 style. The entire operation is based on the sales of cosmetics.
Who was it that sent the initiate to plunder this sacred site? And why?
But we actually do quite a bit. And, yes, I'm getting around to it, but the answer is yes, as a matter of fact. If you do like cosmetics, then you're going to want to stay tuned for Feywild. We got some sweet stuff. So... Alright, I think that's probably... Yeah, the last one's in the harbor. Can we do it, though? Can we do it in about 10 minutes? I don't know if we can. Yeah, sure. Okay. Do I need to pick it up? Let me make sure. I think I do. No, you don't. And yeah, unicorns. We already mentioned that. Among other things. If we ever had offered... Well, yeah, I mean, there's related to what I was saying about the mimic hunt there you go. Someone in chat basically saying, unnecessarily difficult for very little gain, so that... Have we ever offered MMs at a higher discount? Oh, monster manuals at a higher discount. I believe we have, actually. Typically during things like, say, Black Friday.
You suddenly feel disoriented. Which way is down again?
December sales, etc., etc. So.
One of the hags notices your presence.
Would you look at that? More adventurers. I don't remember.
Another hag responds.
Are glamours dropped as random loot only, or via store and daily weekly dice?
Why
Oh, are dropped as random loot or only via store and daily weekly dice. Yes. Generally, you're going to get it through daily dice and the DDO store. But it is possible to get Mirrors of Glamoring and random loot and as end rewards. And that would be as part of pretty much all of our rewards tables have a chance to proc a store table, store item table. And so when that happens, you'll maybe see Mirrors of Glamour. I've picked them up as end rewards and stuff. It's pretty rare, though. I think if you're actually looking for a Mirror of Glamoring, then trying to get it through random loot or something isn't going to be the way to do it. You're going to want to do daily dice probably for that one, or just buy one.
There has to be something we can do, mutters Foxpaw.
Would you like some tea?
Lily asks nonchalantly.
If you reincarnate, your character does it... Oh, sorry. I need to stop. What am I doing? Where is everyone? Here we go. Here we are.
I keep having this dream, says that. I'm in a graveyard, right? And all these undead start to crawl out of the ground.
Oh, can I just turn them? No? Okay. You are asking, if you reincarnate, does it reset the gained rep for every faction? Does it let me gain more free cash shop currency again? So, depending on the form of reincarnation you do, whether that be lesser, greater, true, it either preserves your favor or does not preserve your favor. On a true reincarnation, for example, favor is not preserved. We call it favor rather than faction rep in DDO. So the answer is you will not be able to. It does reset on a true reincarnation, and in some other forms of reincarnation as well. Generally, a respec style reincarnation does not. Can you still earn points? Yes. So the way the game works is you'll continue to earn points for hitting certain favor thresholds, all the way up to the top, right? And so even though it is front-loaded a little bit, you will still earn some amount of DDO points just from regular questing.
And what's the deal with you? Your soul isn't all transparent like mine, Fel says. He leans closer. Hey. What did you do? The hags continue to argue somewhere up above.
Beatrice, you'll eat when we're done. Focus on the ritual. Focus on the...
No, the Elite Spider Cult Mask will not ever be obtainable again.
Says Beatrice.
Sorry, Casper, but that is one of those examples of an item that we largely don't do anymore. That being... pre-purchase exclusive cosmetics. We haven't done a pre-purchase exclusive cosmetic ever since we've been SSG, and I really don't see us bringing it back. For the reason you described, for as much as it maybe motivates a certain percentage of people to pre-order that wouldn't have otherwise, the long-term pain caused by not being able to ever get the thing tends to outweigh that. So, historically, pretty much we've set an internal precedent of, ain't gonna do that again. Ever. But we'll see. Maybe we will do it someday.
And scatters into dust.
Will you hurry up? We're on a schedule!
Cadence reappears on a tree stump, then disappears just as suddenly. Agnes collapses.
So, Growler, I would say this, though. The pre-order exclusives not being ever able to get that item again are like the hardcore rewards. Yes, currently. There are players who want us to re-offer various seasonal hardcore rewards, and theoretically, we could do something like that because we have not used, the kind of legally binding language that is in place for something like those pre-order exclusives. So theoretically, there's nothing formally stopping us from bringing back past hardcore server rewards in future hardcore seasons, or perhaps giving people a choice of either new or old, or something like that. There's some kind of internal reasons why I don't know that we wouldn't necessarily feel 100% comfortable with it. That being predominantly that people worked hard for those rewards, and as much as some people would love to see us bring them back, there's also a bunch of people who would be like, "What? No, absolutely not." And so we want to be sensitive to the whole spectrum of opinion on that one. But technically we could. There's nothing saying we can't. Sweet. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today. And I'm going to wrap up the show. Samus Garobo, if you're watching on Twitch, is going to be up next. He'll be doing a raid over to his channel here in a second. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/DDOstream. We do have some new streamers, or relatively new streamers, including Anket and Azure Smash, who was in chat here. So make sure to check out the schedule and check out the new shows. Let me just make sure real quick there's no last second questions. Zero Cool, we're working on Steam Wallet, we're working on Party Chat, we're working on voice chat issues. That's the status report. Nothing new, but we're working on it. All right, thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you next week. Have fun.